Hey guys, welcome to my channel. The ultimate monster, Hans Niemann, is here. So Hans has just qualified into the semifinals of the 2024 Speed Chess Championship. And actually anything he does grabs a lot of attention because he is just like a super villain in a superhero cartoon, and he is full of personality. And actually recently he has gained a lot of following, and actually I have one of them. On next stop, if Magnus Carlsen also qualifies into the semifinals, then there will be a semifinals matchup between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen. So this will be like something very dramatic and exciting because there's kind of there's some story between these two players. So what will Magnus Carlsen do? Will he refuse to play against Hans Niemann, or will there be a battle happening between these two players? And then differs who will go into the finals. So nonetheless, let's take a look at one of the games that I have chosen from the quarterfinals played by Hans Niemann against Wesley So. So white is Hans Niemann and black is Wesley So. And let's take a look at the game. E4, D6. So this is the perk defense. D4, knight F6. And you can take a look at the time control. This is actually bullet chess, 1 minute plus 1 second each move increment. Knight E3, G6, knight F3. So this is the classical variation. Everything is just like going like it should be. Bishop G7, Bishop E2, short castle, knight C6, D5, knight B8. So actually here after D5, the best move is to go knight E5. And the line goes on like this. After D takes C5, now white goes bishop G5. And then just develops with queen D2, and then the rook out, and probably later on having C4 ideas or even F4 ideas. But in the game, Wesley So played knight B8 back, which is the other best option, but not the main line basically. H3 was played in the game, so this move is a pretty useful move, gaining control of the G4 square, preventing black from going bishop G4 or knight G4, and probably in the future having G4 ideas for his own. C6 was played, trying to weaken the pawn structure, white's pawn structure in the center. And Hans played A4. So actually this is also a very helpful move because in the perk defense, most of the times black will have this A6 B5 idea to create a huge space on the queen side. And most of the times white will go A4 to stop these kinds of ideas from happening on the queen side, and probably later on Hans will play something like A5, A6 to create more space on the queen side for himself. So that's why in the game, Wesley played A5 to prevent this idea from happening. Rook E1 was played, knight BD7, bishop F4. And actually you can now take a look at both players' time. And actually you can take a look at Hans' time, and you can see that he basically didn't think. Like, he was playing just so fast. Wesley is also playing very fast, but probably had thought for a few seconds. So after bishop F4, knight C5 was played in the game. Bishop F1 because the knight was attacking E4 pawn, and there's only one piece defending, so we need another. So bishop F1 was played, bishop D7, queen D2, queen B6, attacking the B2 pawn, rook A B1, defending the B2 pawn, and queen B4 was played. So actually in this position, I think black is already having a slight advantage because you can take a look at you can see that on the queen side, the A4 pawn is slightly weak, and actually there's not enough counterplay for white in the center. So I think black is easier to play with in this position. And I think because of that, Hans tried to create more counterplay and get the position going on, like becoming more interesting. So he played the move e5 in the game, which was a mistake because it actually doesn't work. There's knight d5, just like played in the game, and after knight takes, c takes, and I'm going to show you guys the actual game later on. But now, what I should have done was to play. Actually, there aren't many good moves to play, and it's not easy to find these moves. But here, the best move is actually to go rook a1 to defend this a4 pawn and simply going back. Now, there is a small trick here because black can actually not take on b2, because now either white will go rook eb1 to attack this queen, or white can also go d takes c6, and after, for example, bishop takes c6, now there's rook eb1, and black has to go knight f e4 or knight c e4, and after rook takes queen, knight takes queen, there's bishop takes, and we can see that now white is up a piece and should be winning. Although there's still knight a4, but now rook b3, and this should be better for white. Even though you can take a look at the eval bar, it's not completely winning for white, but white should have greater chances to win. Alright, so let's go back. So rook e1 is the best move here in this position, but instead Hans chose to go e5. And e5 is actually a mistake. Now black has a slight advantage. Knight takes d5, Wesley found the best move in the position, because if you take on e5, this is probably still okay, but after knight takes c5, let's say c takes d5, knight d7, let's say knight c d7, and now there's knight d5 basically. Now after knight takes d5, queen takes d5, like the material is pretty much equal here, and the engine says black is better here, but it's probably close to equal because white does have the bishop pair. But probably the reason that black is slightly better here is because of white's a bit damaged pawn structure on the queen side, and this g7 bishop is just a very strong piece, and there's no clear way for white to trade it off by the moment. So knight takes d5 was the best move played in the game, and after knight takes d5, c takes d5, and e takes d6 was played. Now, another option would be to go c3 to kick this queen away, and now the queen has to take on a4, and after e takes d6, e takes d6, there's bishop takes d6, and there's knight e4. And after queen takes d5, this is actually a very complex line. I'm just basically going to show it to you guys. It's actually, if you want to calculate this line, it will take a lot of time, and you have to calculate with depth and width. So after bishop c6, here basically white can go, like, the only move is to go queen d1 back. Other moves will all be losing on the spot because, for example, queen d3, now there's rook f d8, using this pin, and black will be winning the bishop. So the only move here is to go queen to d1 to trade off the queens, and probably white will be fine. So let's go back and take a look at what happened in the actual game. So after c takes d5, e takes d6 happened in the game, and after queen takes d2, knight takes c2, and e6 was played. So Wesley did not take on d6, but e6 is also one of the best moves after e6. b3 was played to protect the a4 pawn. Bishop c6 was played. Knight f3. So we can see that white has this passed pawn on d6, but it basically cannot be pushed. The d7 square is being controlled by the knight and the bishop, and it cannot be easily supported by these two rooks because the pawns are blockading basically the files. Rook f8 was played, threatened to go bishop f8 on the next move to win this pawn, and Hans Niemann played c4. He is actually trying to go very aggressive and make the position harder for the opponent to think, because you can see that Wesley is down Okay, actually just down 3 seconds, but probably he still has some pressure. c4 was played, but it's actually a mistake. The best move is to go bishop g5 to attack this rook. The rook cannot take on d6 because there's bishop e7 and winning the knight on c5. So bishop g5 should have been played, but c4 was played in the game. It's a mistake, but it's not that easy for black to play now. d4 was played, and Wesley found the best move here. Other moves would just lead to an equalized position, but d4, black will still have a small advantage. Knight e5 was played. f6. f6 was kind of like a mistake. We're actually missing a chance here. Black should have gone bishop e4, attacking the rook, and also closing up this diagonal, which meant that this knight will be more weaker than before it is. But anyways, in the game, f6 was played. It's a miss, but black is still better here. Knight takes c6 was played, b takes c6, and bishop d2. So we can see that black basically has a very strong pawn structure in the on the board, but actually white is still okay here because there are some ideas or opportunities that he could basically do on the queen side to basically create passed pawns. Bishop f8 was played. The reason that he cannot take on d6 immediately is because now white has this bishop a5 move. A very good move, and there's b4 on the next move. In this position, white will equalize the position, and white will be slightly better. So bishop f8 was played, bishop a5, and this is actually a brilliant move. Chess.com gave it 2 exclamation marks. And actually, this is just a very easy tactic. I think rook e5 was played in the game, and now b4. b4 was played, and e5, take on a5. But actually, after b4, black should have played bishop d6, but it's not an easy move to find because b takes a5, and black is just simply down half a piece. In the game, e5 was played, and b takes a5, bishop d6. White is wait, let me count 1, 2, 3. So white has 6 pawns basically, and black has 6 pawns. So black is simply down a pure half piece. But of course, white's pawn structure are a bit damaged, and black does have this very strong d4 passed pawns. Rook b6 was played in the game, putting pressure on the c6 pawn. Rook c8 was played, a6, pushing the passed pawn, but it's not easy to be pushed. Rook c7 was played, and this is actually a mistake. If black had played something like bishop b8 to stop a7, then this position might still be a draw. But of course, you can take a look at both players' time use, and you can see that Wesley So is down with only 14 seconds left, while HANS still has 38 seconds. So I think all the pressure, including time pressure, is on black's side, and it's not easy to play. Rook c7, so I think Wesley somehow panicked, and after rook eb1, king f7 was played, a5, this is actually a mistake. Rook b7 is the winning move here basically, because after knight takes a6, rook c7, knight c7, now white basically just needs to go rook b7 and start pushing this pawn, and even going c5 to open up this bishop's diagonal, and white should be easily winning. But in the game, a5 was played, and white's still winning, of course. King e7, rook b7, knight e6, those are all very brilliant moves played by Hans Niemann, and c5. Another great found by him. Knight takes c5, and now rook takes c7, bishop takes c7, a6. And here, Wesley So basically just resigned the game. And you can see the time used, like the time difference. He only has 3 seconds left, while HANS still has 32 seconds. So he basically still has more than half of his time left. And he played an excellent game. First of all, he found this excellent move, bishop takes a5 here. Where is it? Here. He found this brilliant move, which then equalized the position. And then he found the b4 move. Then he found basically, where is it? This rook b7 move. Actually, some players might not play this move because they might think they're just giving away their like piece advantage, but actually sometimes you just need to sacrifice or give your pieces back for the win. So this is Hans Niemann, the ultimate monster in the chess world, but of course he is a very strong player. The reason that I call him a monster is because, first of all, he is full of personality, and second of all, he is a very strong player and sometimes as scary as a monster. So, and I think that's it for today. This game was well played by him. Hope you guys like it. Please subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye!